everybody. My name is Riley Christie. I'm the current athletic director at Salem High School. It's our immense pleasure and pride that we gather here tonight for the induction ceremony of the 2023 Salem High School Athletic Hall of Fame. This evening marks a celebration of excellence, perseverance, and the enduring legacy of our distinguished athletes, mentors, coaches, and friends. I would like to first give a huge shout out and thank you to our Hall of Fame committee. Glenn Burns, who was our principal, Benjamin Arlander, Jasmine Bryant, Tom Fury, Angie Giancola, Beth Ann Jellison, Garrett Parsons, Alex Sanchez, Lori Stewart, Wayne Silva, Richard Stafford. This night tonight does not happen with all of their hard work and dedication behind the scenes. They have worked tirelessly over the last few months to make sure that this night has come to fruition and make sure it's the best night possible for all of our inductees and our guests tonight. I would like to recognize the elected officials here. She was here. She stopped by, Senator Joan Lovely. School committee member Beth Ann Cornell. School committee elect AJ Hoffman. And our next elected official I'd like to bring up for them to speak a few words, Mayor Dominic Pangalo.
This is great. So there's a very long program. I think I'm not going to be up here for too long, but I just want to offer my congratulations to all the inductees. My dad, Sal, joined the Hall of Fame in 2002. He was a wrestling coach at Salem High School from 1978 to 1984. This was the tie that he wore actually when he was a coach. The tradition, the memories, what this means, I think carries on for so many families in Salem. I know it does for mine, and I'm so thrilled that it's going to now for 11 more. My congratulations to everyone being inducted. My thanks to the committee members and to the staff, Riley and everyone else who worked so hard to make this event possible and to make our athletics program in Salem really world class. So enjoy the dinner. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to join me this evening.
And now I'd like to bring up our State Representative Manny Cruz.
Good evening. I'll try that again. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for filling my cup. It's so good to be with you all tonight. I want to thank our athletic director, Riley Christie, a dear friend, for the invitation to be with you. Senator Lovely was here earlier and regrettably had to leave, but I do want to note that tonight is about all of our inductees, you and your families and your storied careers as part of our community here in Salem. As a proud graduate of our Salem Public Schools, I can't tell you how excited I am to see this event come back and the pride that comes along with it. As I think of the memories of my own experience, I have a few classmates who are being inducted this evening and dear friends of mine, and as I think about their contributions to my high school experience, I think often about Jasmine Bryant. She was a much better basketball player than I ever was. Sean Linehan, who was our valedictorian, never missed a day of school, by the way. I don't know if folks saw that, I can attest to it. And he was so gracious to always help me out with my homework. And then there was Antonio Reyes, affectionately known as Tone, a brother of mine who I started playing basketball with at High Street. And he was a part of a special team with Sean and Brad Skeffington, who's here, that made it all the way to the TD Garden. And those stories of the Salem athletics department, our coaches, our players, that were able to support our students and bring them to a point where they had these stellar careers. That legacy lives on. Just next week, our kids are going to be headed to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1999. And so as this important ceremony makes its way back, I do think that it is important to recognize that each of the folks that are being inducted tonight, I think we'll get an opportunity to learn more about them and hear from them. You are continuing to set a path for others to follow your storied careers and to build new traditions right here in our great city of Salem. I do want to note that myself, the mayor, and of course Senator Lovely have prepared citations for each of you that just recognize you from both the city's perspective and from our Commonwealth. So I want to thank you for choosing to have your athletic career here in Salem, for being a part of the fabric of our community. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Mayor Brancalo and Rep. Cruz. Salem High has such a rich history of athletic achievement, and there's something about the witch. And everyone in this room tonight, we are all witches. And it's something that is so unique to our city of Salem. And if you go anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, if you say you are from Salem, or you went to Salem High, or you're part of this community, people go, wait, really? That's Salem? And people can say yes. And they're like, wait, are you a witch? And they can say yes very proudly that they're a witch. And we defined what that means. And I think that definition, holds true to an exceptional degree with all of our inductees tonight. First, it is work. It is work ethic. All of our inductees tonight had to work extremely hard for the things that they have wanted in their life. And you don't get where you want to be without work ethic. It's ignite. You have to have passion. You have to have energy. You have to be excited to be there. Now, it's not about just yelling and jumping up and down and yelling, it's a great day to be great, which is something I say a lot at the high school now, sometimes at 7 in the morning to wake up our students. But it is about just having that positive energy that your teammates, your students, your athletes, your coworkers can feed off and build off. T is trust. It's earning and building trust. If you're a witch, that means that you are trustworthy and that you trust others. Now, how do you do that? It's by repeated experiences of doing what you say that you're going to do when you say that you're going to do it. And witches do that consistently. C is champion. Now, being a champion is three-pronged because at one point of all of our lives, we were all students or student athletes, or coaches are putting their student athletes first, or mentors are putting their student athletes first, or boosters are putting their student athlete first. So the first part about being a champion is academically, which I know, especially in the case of Mr. Linehan, who was the valedictorian and never missed a day of school, you are 100% a champion in that right, and everyone in this room was a champion of academically. Okay? Second part about being a champion is socially. Okay? Being a witch learns how you handle different situations and can handle them correctly. How to handle victory with humility, how to handle loss with dignity, how to persevere, how to handle tough times. I'm going to use a football analogy here, but it's not always 1st and 10 and sunny. Sometimes it's 4th and 2 and rainy and cloudy, and you need to get the first down. Being a witch teaches you how to do that. And the last piece, I say athletically, because I am the athletic director, but it's being a champion in whatever drives you, whatever is your passion. If you want to be a champion in art, champion in music, champion in whatever that may be, graphic design, be a champion at it. Now, when I say champion, it doesn't mean at the end of the year you were, a state champion, you got to go to the Garden, or you were a Super Bowl champion. Okay? Being a champion is getting 1% better every single day. Every single day. If you got 1% better at all 3 levels, then you are being a champion, and you will be a champion for life. And the last part about being a witch is H, and that's heart. You have to have care and empathy and respect and love in your heart. You don't have to love everybody, and I promise you, you won't, but you have to have that empathy and care. And those 5 pieces, those 5 core values truly make being a witch special. And I can tell you right now, all of our inductees tonight, you are a witch through and through, and you are the exceptional example of what it means to be a witch. Tonight, we will induct a new class of extraordinary individuals into this esteemed Hall of Fame. Individuals whose names will forever be synonymous with our school's sporting excellence. They serve as an inspiration to current and future athletes, coaches, parents, mentors, athletic directors, and such on. Demonstrating with hard work, resilience, and unwavering determination, one can reach the pinnacle of success. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this occasion, and congratulations to the inductees. And we're going to start our program first off with Jasmine Bryant. Jasmine graduated in 2011 and was a soccer, basketball, and track athlete and star. Jasmine excelled and was a leader in her three sports, basketball, track, and soccer. She was a captain of the soccer, basketball, and track teams her senior year. Jasmine blended her talents with her teammate to create success in soccer and basketball, and shone individually on the track to establish standards that will inspire present and future athletes to emulate, if not equal and exceed. On the track, Jasmine was undefeated in dual meet competition in her senior year in both the 100-meter hurdles and the triple jump. She was the NEC triple jump champion her junior and senior seasons and was the 100-meter hurdle champion her senior season. Jasmine was voted by the Northeastern Conference as its MVP in track and field her senior year. She qualified to compete in the state Division II track meet in each of her sophomore, junior, and senior years. As a senior, Jasmine finished in second place in Massachusetts Division II 100-meter hurdles event, qualifying for the Massachusetts All-State meet. She's the co-holder of the 100-meter hurdles and triple jump records with Julie O'Donnell, a current member of the Salem High Hall of Fame. Demonstrating her overall athletic ability, Jasmine completed her track career at Salem by finishing fourth in the Northern Massachusetts Heptathlon, establishing a school record that remains unbroken to this day. On the pitch, Jasmine demonstrated similar dominance. Jasmine led the teams in scoring her sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. She was a three-time Northeastern Conference All-Star, culminating with recognition as an Eastern Massachusetts All-Star her senior year. Turning to the court, Jasmine was a vital contributor as an to the highly regarded Salem basketball teams, even as a freshman. She was a strong presence in the middle of the court, leading the team in rebound and block shots each of her sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. Once again, Jasmine was a Northeastern Conference All-Star in her sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. Jasmine's success transcended high school sports as well. She continued her track career at Bryant College, where she set records indoors in the 55-meter hurdles and outdoors in the 100-meter hurdles and the triple jump. Congratulations, Jasmine.
Okay. It is truly an honor to be nominated and an absolute privilege to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. As I look back at each basketball season, running 10 miserable balconies each day, the images of the legends inducted were both inspiring and daunting, but never did I think I would see myself amongst them. Nowadays, whenever I give the pregame captain's talk as a soccer referee, I always remind the athletes to cherish this time. Appreciate playing with your friends you grew up with, competing with your rival, taking risks, and most importantly, having fun. 4 years goes by in a flash, and you will always remember those huge wins, but more importantly, who was there and the impact they had in those moments even more. The numerous memories on big stages for soccer, basketball, and track would not exist without my teammates and coaches. Being part of something bigger than myself and contributing to a success of a team is one of the reasons I love sports so much. Whether it was junior year soccer as a 16 seed upsetting the number 2 seed, or senior year basketball being the underdog and once again having that same fate, sharing the celebrations as the final whistle blew with my teammates I loved playing with and the coaches that got us there made those memories more special. Growing up and playing soccer and basketball and wanting to play in high school, I never expected to have track and field become my favorite. The thought of loving a sport where 95% of the practices were doing the exact punishments of soccer and basketball is still mind-blowing to me. Track helped me learn most about myself, about discipline and the value of challenging myself to be better than the day before. Even to this day, I thank Coach Stafford for challenging me and laying a successful foundation which led me to continue my career in college. I can only imagine how big my eye roll was when he suggested I partake in the heptathlon. Only competing in 3 of the 7 events regularly, I was so nervous, but with his patience and support, I fell in love with hurdling, and the rest is history. I don't want to cry. So, all the records, statistics, and personal achievements are great, but what I truly treasure more than anything is my family being at every single sports event. From the below freezing temperatures during soccer season to the 4 hours at a track meet to watch me compete for 30 seconds, they did not skip a beat. My mother, Joy, and my father, Nate, have been my biggest supporters and at times my favorite critics. I cannot begin to thank both of you enough for introducing me to sports because it has forever impacted my life. Between the start of my sports career, painfully watching me play magnet ball, which is what I call U6 soccer, where they kick the ball and run, to my last track event at Bryant, they have been on this journey with me and made it all possible. And as special and appreciative as I was to have them watch me for so many years, the most important memory was playing with my sister Alex. Although it was only for 1 year, playing together on the same team was more enjoyable than having her defensively shut me down in the backyard. My mom's favorite story to tell is when we were both playing soccer and Alex was doing her usual duty of stopping their best offensive player, and she might have fouled her too hard, resulting in a yellow card. Immediately, being a captain and a big sister, I ran right over to the ref and asked what justified the card, resulting in receiving one of my own. It's my only yellow card in my career, but it's one that I couldn't be more proud to receive. So to my parents and sister, thank you for coaching me, cheering me on, and playing alongside of me. Thank you for all the time, money, and willingness to dedicate to allow me to live out a fantastic sports career. And to those I've played with and have coached me, thank you for your patience, your constructive criticism, your guidance, and a fantastic 4 years. I would like to close by congratulating everyone being inducted tonight and also thank Salem High Sports for everything it gave me, everything I learned here, and helping me become the person and athlete I am today.
Congratulations again, Jasmine. Our next inductee tonight is Jamal Kama. As a member of the 1995 Salem High School undefeated boys state champions, Jamal was one of the most skilled basketball players that ever put on a Witches jersey. During his career as a varsity player at Salem High, Jamal was truly ahead of his time. During the 1990s, a player of his height would be a traditional big man playing with his back to the basket. Jamal smashed those rules and played a wing that could dribble, pass, and shoot like a guard. His play on the court memorized fans and fellow competitors and made Veterans Memorial Fieldhouse the place to be during the 1995 season. Jamal was one of 2 Division I players on the 95 team along with Scooney Penn. Playing with another great player, Jamal showed his character as he worked collaboratively with Scooney to propel the team to a 25-0 record. During the 1994-95 season, Jamal averaged 21 points and 11 rebounds while on defense, helping cause many turnovers as part of a full-court press attack that struck fear in the hearts of the opponents in the Northeastern Conference. Jamal's most memorable moment of that season was hitting a buzzer beater in the North Final of the MIAA tournament versus Belmont to advance to the Boston Garden. Jamal's accolades during the 1995 season were as follows: NEC League All-Star, Salem News All-Scholastic, Boston Globe All-Scholastic, and Boston Herald All-Scholastic. At a national level, Jamal was recognized as a top player in the nation as he was part of a prestigious AAU basketball program, the Boston Amateur Basketball Club, BABC. Participating in the AAU basketball tournaments across the country, like the Peach Jam, Jamal was ranked in the top 50 high school basketball players with the likes of Ron Artest, Elton Brand, and Dirk Nowitzki. After leaving Salem High School, Jamal earned a Division I scholarship at the University of Providence. Jamal finished his collegiate career at the University of New Haven, averaging 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists and 4 steals per game, and being named first team all-conference. Jamal has left a lasting legacy in the storied Salem High basketball program. Congratulations, Jamal.
I'm gonna have my peeps come join me. Okay. I would like to start by recognizing the native son of Salem, Carl Hens Billiard. Carl was on the verge of greatness on and off the court. He was a rising student athlete at this very university, Salem State University. Although I was not fortunate enough to meet Carl, his story and his accomplishments really touched me in many ways. Carl, we have been robbed of your genius, your artistry, and your gifts. Your work of art and impact on this community will never be forgotten. Bye-byes are not for legends. Your name shall live on. Rest in power, champ. First, I would like to say shout out to ESP, Brooklyn, USA. That's my foundation, for all the brothers who were there with me from the very start. I would like to thank the committee for recognizing my artistry, my contribution to Salem High School athletics. It's truly an honor to stand here with all of the other outstanding nominees. Additionally, this mic is really loud. Jasmine, I don't even know how you did it. Additionally, I would like to give a thanks to my family and friends who supported me throughout this journey. It wasn't just me by myself. It was a shared accomplishment. My name just happens to be on it. Speaking of names, I want to take you back to an origin story, but I'm going to start by this quote. It is through our names we first place ourselves in this world. Our names, being a gift of others, must be made our own. They must become our masks and our shields, and the containers for all the values and traditions we learn and or imagine being the meaning of our family past. And that's from Hidden Name, Complex Faith by George Ellison. I'm going to tell you a real story, and I'm going to start with my name, Kendrick Lamar. I'll start with my name because it's closely linked to the game of basketball. My father named me after the Naismith Hall of Famer, Los Angeles Lakers legend Jamal Wilkes. My father loved the Showtime Lakers and introduced me to prominent artists like Wilkes, Cooper, Magic, Jabbar, to name a few. I've intentionally substituted athletes for artists because basketball is performance art. Therefore, athletes are artists expressing themselves through play, sharing a work of art to the masses. I was given a task, as a young kid, I was given a task of recording all of the televised games. So recording all the televised games, I used to do it on a VCR. For some of you young folks, it's a video cassette recorder. There was no streaming or Netflix or anything like that. So my task was to record the games, but at the same time, my dad didn't like commercials, so I had to press pause. And then I had to unpause when the game was back on. I was mesmerized by Wilkes' smooth jump shot, Cooper's two-way play on offense and defense, Magic no-look passes, and Kareem's legendary skyhook. The recordings became film study and research material for me. I would sift through hours of basketball footage, exercising my mind, classifying an arrangement, analyzing and comparing the works of other prominent artists. I was preparing myself to one day apply my newly acquired skill to my actual game. My first test was on a makeshift hoop designed by my childhood friend Dwayne, and as a true educator, I brought an artifact.
Hold it up, Hayden.
Dad still got game. It was on this makeshift hoop that we perfected our skills and learned how to shoot a balled up sock into a hanger with Steph-like Curry accuracy. Once we were old enough to play outside without adult supervision, we transitioned from a hanger to a milk crate. Eventually, we would move on to an actual basketball court. As a naturally quiet kid, basketball was my voice. With my newfound instrument, I was able to confidently express myself, and I was eagerly ready to show my work of art with others. For me, it was never about stats or personal awards. I never wanted to disappoint my coaching staff, my teammates, and supporters. Treat every game as if it is Game 7 was the motto. I would like to shout out my mentor, coach, and father figure, Mr. Ron Leary. He transitioned a few years ago. Ron believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. He inflated my ego bubble when I thought I was better than the next person. His maneuvers were timely. Ron would always say, play this game with joy, passion, and energy. Treat it as if it is Game 7 was the motto. For the longest time, I thought he was referring to the game of basketball, but he was actually talking about the game of life. To quote the great Maya Angelou, I didn't always remember what Ron said or remember anything he did, but I never forget how he made me feel. He made me feel special. Lastly, my mom transitioned in 1978. Her physical presence may not be with me. However, her spirit is present in all that I do. She continues to be with me every step of the way. She is my guiding light, my inner warrior spirit. I wish you were here to see your little baby boy fly. Please believe your legacy and name shall live on from generation to generation. We carry your torch everywhere we go. Lastly, to all of the artists, your work is valued, respected, and appreciated. Your work matters. Continue to master your craft with accuracy and determination. Unapologetically display your work of art to the masses. Leave a mark they can't erase. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again, Jamal. Come on. Our next inductee, I gotta adjust this a little bit. I'm not as, vertically gifted as our previous inductee, but our next inductee is Chris Felton. something that I think is very cool about this is that we're inducting someone that competed and won Salem High's most recent Super Bowl, and we this week are going, or next week will be competing in the Super Bowl again. There's something about having you in the building that's going to be that. Chris Felton graduated in 2001 and played football, wrestling, and baseball. As a three-sport captain of the football, wrestling, and baseball teams, Chris excelled on the field, mat, and classroom. In his junior year, he was a starter that played in all three phases of the game and helped the Witches bring home the school's first football state championship. Then, his senior year was awarded the team MVP and Hall of Fame honors and named to the Agganis All-Star Game. On the mat, Chris was a 3-year starter and took third place in the sectional tournament at the 171 pounds weight class. As a 3-year starter as a catcher on the baseball team, Chris was named the most promising underclassman in his sophomore year. He was known for his ability to get on base, call a game behind the plate, and in his senior year hit over 400 and was named team MVP, awarded Hall of Fame honors, and an NEC All-Star. Chris went on to be a 3-year starter for the Bates College football team and graduated with a degree in economics. Whether on the gridiron, mat, or diamond, Chris was a lead-by-example captain that strove to be a role model on and off the field. Congratulations, Chris Felton.
All right. Thanks for adjusting this back down. Help me out. Might still be a little too high. Here we go. Right. Well, good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the Salem High School Hall of Fame Committee, everybody who's put this great evening on and made this possible. It's a very cool honor to stand up here in front of you all and be inducted to the Salem High School Hall of Fame. I'd also like to thank my very good friend Brad Papalardo for nominating me. I'm appreciative of one of my soccer buddies nominating a football guy, so that's true friendship. When Coach Gallagher first called me, I immediately thought to myself, who is this random number calling me when I'm trying to put my children down and fighting them to get into bed? It was, but when I picked up the phone, he let me know I was inducted to the Salem High School Hall of Fame. With this city with such a great, rich athletic history, truly humbled, and this is such a great honor, particularly to be amongst all the other honorees, student athletes, administrators who have such a big impact, not only on the athletic program, but on other kids and other children who played sports after us or even with us. When Coach and I were chatting, my mind first went to when we were preparing for the 100th game, Salem-Beverly. That loss still sits with me today, but that's okay. He opened up the Salem High School Pride Room, and we walked in, and there were pictures, guys with leather football helmets like my grandfather, my uncles, my dad, sitting in the front row holding that football as a Salem High School captain. And ever since I was a kid, I just wanted to play for the Witches. I was fortunate enough, my dad coached high school baseball here in the late 80s, early 90s. Two of my idols, Mr. Giardi, Coach Giardi, Mike Giardi. I was 5, 6 years old sitting on the bench watching that high school state championship team, and that was like my Bill Belichick and Tom Brady as a kid. And all I really wanted to do was put that Witches uniform on when I grew up. So whether it was there, sitting at BU, 1996 Super Bowl, watching state championship team basketball teams, whether I was down at the Garden or at the Worcester Centrum, this athletics program and this city has meant so much to just my family and I. It truly is just an honor to stand here and be inducted as part of so many Salem legends, as I consider them. Never played sports for individual achievement. My goal was just always to be one of the hardest workers, lead by example, and really just do anything I could for the benefit of the team, help us win. Really just wanted to represent myself, my family, and this hardworking city to the best of my ability. And again, whether it was to bring other kids who are watching us, who are up in the stands, freshmen, sophomore teammates, to just show them what it was like to have Salem pride, be Salem tough. And I'll say nobody taught me more about Salem pride and Salem toughness than you, Coach Gallagher. I came with a lot of conditioning, more conditioning than I really want to do. I should probably do more of it today, but it's tough with an 8 and a 4-year-old, or maybe that's just an easy excuse. But just thank you, because I appreciate you as a person, a mentor, a coach, and to the kids you still mentor today. They don't know how lucky they are to have you. So thanks a lot, Coach. I really appreciate you. To my teammates, my quarterback, Lito Gonzalez, I just thank them. And those who aren't here, I hope they know how thankful I am and how much they taught me. And I really appreciate that Salem bond, that friendship, and I hope they learned or took something away from me as much as I learned and took away from them. Lifelong friendships were built, and even though you may not see one another 5-10 years, when you get in a room, it's like you never left. But I think that's a testament, again, to that Salem pride and what this athletics program and this city brings. To my sister Ashley, thank you for always being dragged around. I don't know if it was willingly that you came to all my games, but you're always such a great supporter. And maybe one day I'll sit and watch you give a speech as that NEC MVP for women's field hockey. So I just like to thank you. And even though I'm older, I look up to you, maybe hopefully just as you look up to me. So thanks. And then to my mom and dad, Gina and Charlie, I would just like to, Jasmine, you made it cool to choke up talking about family, so thank you. I didn't want to be the first. But to my mom and dad, just thank you so much for driving my friends and I to practices, to games, the pasta parties. I think those meatballs put us over the top up in Gloucester that night. And just for helping run the boosters and not only investing in me, but the entire athletics program in this city, and teaching me the values to be successful and help me live out my childhood dream of playing for the Witches. It may not have been running out of the tunnel like I wrote in my second grade what I'll be doing in the future, playing for Notre Dame football, but Rudy made it look a lot easier. But you know, the memories and the friendships, again, and the bonds that I have through Salem High School athletics are life-lasting. And although my wife, Erin, and my 2 sons, Charlie and James, could not be here tonight, they're back home. Salem High School and what this city and athletics programs brings still lives in my household today, even though I don't live in this city. And I'm just truly grateful for what this school system, this athletics program, my teammates, my family, and everybody who's been involved provided along the way. So thank you very much. It's been a great evening. It's a true honor. And thanks again. Go Witches.
Congratulations again, Chris Felton. Our next inductee is Jana Mraz Gothier. Jana graduated in 2000 and was a soccer and softball player. Jana was a 4-year varsity soccer and 4-year varsity softball player at Salem High School who excelled in defensive roles on the field as well as leadership roles as captain. In soccer, she played center back and was often tasked to mark the opposing lead striker, always shutting them down and controlling the backfield. In softball, she was the catcher who called the pitches, rarely had a pass ball, and was dominant at the plate and loved stealing bases. Jana was so strong on defense in both sports, she was impossible to sub out, playing nearly every minute of every game over her 4 years at the high school for both sports. In her junior year, she even stepped in as the varsity soccer goalkeeper after the starter went down with a broken leg midway through the season. Out of her position, she was equally commanding in the net, and the team managed to go deep in the playoffs. She was selected to play on NEC All-Star teams during her time at the high school as well. Defensive players don't always get that recognition because they don't carry the same weight in statistics. But Jana was an elite force to be reckoned with on any field of play. In fact, it was the defense that secured an undefeated season, concluding with a Division I U16 Massachusetts Youth Soccer Association state championship for Salem in 1998. A youth team composed of mostly Salem High players, a good defense will negate a good offense in tougher games, said Coach Greenblatt. The summer heading into her senior year at Salem High, Jana played in soccer tournaments in Europe, winning the individual award of MVP in the Newcastle United FC Women's Tournament. In the classroom, Jana also excelled, finishing in the top 10 of her graduating class at Salem High. Jana went on to complete at Emerson College, playing soccer as a freshman starter at center back, and graduated there with high honors as well, magna cum laude. Jana's passion for sports drove her professional career, where she has worked as an executive for the New England Patriots, coming up on 19 years. She's attended 6 Super Bowls and wears 3 rings. I think I actually saw one floating around earlier. Jana still lives in Salem and is involved with Salem Youth Soccer and Salem Little League. Both of her children are strong athletes and are upcoming players to watch in Salem. Julia Gothier, grade 9, Salem High School in soccer and softball, and John Gothier, grade 6, hockey, baseball, and soccer. Congratulations, Jana.
Hi, everyone. I'm gonna keep mine a little short because I really don't like speaking in front of crowds. But I do want to say thank you for this great honor of being inducted into the Salem High Athletics Hall of Fame. I was born, raised, and still live in Salem. In fact, I think my mom would attest to us being 5 generations or more Salem townies. So I'm incredibly proud of this achievement and really have that strong Salem pride. And I don't think I'm ever going to leave either. So, and I'm raising a next generation, so make that 6 or 7. And Chris was talking a lot about coaches that have impact. And in a random stars aligning moment, another inductee here, Bethany Greenblatt, her dad was my soccer coach for a good decade here in Salem. And it just so happens he's here tonight, and I had to just give you a shout out, Coach Greenblatt. Coach Greenblatt actually was the coach that took a Salem youth soccer team to the Massachusetts State Championship. I think it may be only 1 or 2 in the history of Salem that we won back in, I believe it was 1998. So it's pretty sweet. Other coaches I just really wanted to call out that really stood out in my path at Salem High School. Kathy Vaselli Boucher. She coached over at Salem High for a few years. She had great impact on my life. In fact, pretty special, now that my daughter is a freshman at Salem High, she's coming to support us and watch all of those games again. So it's been pretty neat. And Kathy Strout in softball. I don't think she's here tonight, but she was a great leader for our team back in those 90s. And I hope my story here is a good one for upcoming athletes and Salem High. My message is a reminder that, and I tell this to a lot of parents that are trying to sort out where they're going to send their kids to school, you can succeed at Salem High, you can go to a great college, you can play collegiate level sports, and you can do amazing things in your career with focus, goals. Focus, goals, determination, a lot of that which definition that Riley mentioned, anything really is possible here in Salem. I'd also like to shout out my mom. She is my biggest supporter of a defender. As Chris kind of also insinuated, we don't always get the stats, right? We're not scoring goals, we're not throwing those pitches, but we are very important on that field of play. And my mom felt so strongly for so many years that us defenders need a little bit more recognition from time to time. So I think this is pretty special for her. And my husband is here, David, doing the videoing, so all of us can have some copies of this at some point, which is pretty special. 2 kids at the table, John, Julia, upcoming Salem athletes, hockey, baseball, soccer, softball. And I do feel bad for them because I feel like I set their bar pretty high. But I do think they're on a good track to do really good things for this city as well. And that's it. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Our next inductee is Robert J. Geswell, an athletic director, teacher, and coach. Robert Geswell enjoyed a 33 career being involved in the Salem sports community. He served as a teacher for 13 years, where he coached a multitude of sports, including basketball, soccer, and football. After teaching, Robert Geswell was the director of athletics and physical education for 18 years. Salem News reporter Mike Grenier wrote this about those years while he was AD. Quoting Grenier, "It wouldn't be a stretch to say Bob presided over one of the golden eras of Salem high sports. Under Geswell's watch as athletic director from 1985 through 2003, Salem High won a pair of state basketball championships in boys basketball, a state title in baseball, and a Super Bowl in football. Additionally, during that time, Salem had a national high jump champion, Craig Mielkars, an All-American wrestling champion, Jeremy Potvin, a 2-time heavyweight wrestling champion, Matt Keller, and numerous girls track records holders, as well as many league champions and sectional championships. There are 23 different varsity sports and 500 games a year at 3 levels of competition. No matter what game, match, event, or level it was, there is a great chance that one would see Mr. Geswell in attendance. In 1990, Mr. Geswell started the Salem High School Hall of Fame with the invaluable help of Larry McIntyre, director of Salem Parks and Recreation, and several others. He served on the committees running these banquets from 1990 until 2005. They worked on this project to bring together athletes, fans, and boosters from many generations. The Hall of Fame fosters and strengthens Salem historic athletic traditions. Of the many accomplishments of Mr. Geswell, there are 2 that stand out. The first of which was being asked by the 2003 senior class to give the graduation commencement address. Second being when Salem High named the field in front of the high school after Mr. Geswell. Congratulations, Robert J. Geswell.
Most of my speech is going to be about thanking a lot of people. Okay, and I'm going to start. First of all, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for electing me for this honor. I really do appreciate it. I want to congratulate all the fellow inductees here tonight for all your accomplishments and the great job that you have done. Next, I'm going to go to my wife, Joan, who passed away 3.5 years ago. But she was with me for all the time that I was athletic director and when I was coaching. She's the love of my life. She was always there for me. She was strong. She was my support. It's a group called Celtic Thunder, and they have some music. One of the songs they have, if you want to listen to something nice, it's called Always There. And it goes on talking about someone always being there to pick you up, to give you a kick when you needed a kick, to help you out, and to be your strength. And that's what Joan Geswell was to me. I also want to acknowledge my two lovely daughters, Leslie Peavy and Karen Turamina. They were always there. They missed a lot of birthday parties on their day because I was working, so we had to move it around to a different time. But they were a great support to me, and I just I love them with all my heart. I also have 3 grandchildren, and I have Kayla Bent, Brandon Peavy, and Matthew Turamina, 2 of which are here tonight. The other one is in the Coast Guard of town of Virginia right now. They were there. They had a lot of events in Salem with me. They were a big part of my support group, and I really needed them. The one I didn't name, well, I have a great granddaughter called Nora, and she's 3 years old, and she is an absolute delight. She's the light of all our lives, and we all feel happy and much better when she comes there. Other special people in my life, including Edith Pouchy, Coachman, is helped me get ready for this for all week and to prepare for it and to keep me kind of focused on it. Other people that are important to my life that are here tonight is Mark Ragusa, Rob Bent, and Jamie McDonald. They're special people, and Mark is with my daughter Karen, Rob is with my granddaughter, and Jamie is with my grandson. I want to take a moment and thank Mike Zager for nominating for this honor, and he and his wife Judy and his son Brian put together a nomination and sent it in and nominated me. He was reading the paper one day and said they're taking nominations, and the Salem Bob of the Hall of Fame. He said, "You're in there, right?" I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Well, how come?" I said, "Well, just the way things go." So he says, "I'm going to nominate you," and he did, and I appreciate it very much. And my other golfing partners are there, John Bioli and Jeff Zager, his brother. I want to take a minute and thank 3 people that really helped me when I was there: Isabel Sweeney, Janine Detremont, and Carol Amadeo. They were my secretaries at the school, and they, when things went right, they were usually behind it. Other people I want to thank Larry McIntyre. He's one of my best friends. He was one of my best friends. I want to thank him. Without Larry, there'd be no lights at Bertram Field. He helped to raise $25,000 to put the baskets in the gym at the time, because we had the old torn baskets. And he did so much for the kids in Salem. The fields were always prepared. At a special game, you call Larry, you send his crew down, they're ready to go. He deserves a lot of credit. I want to thank. I want to thank Peter Dolan. I want to thank Ben Islander for his support Ben, I think he filmed all, 13 or 14 of the first Hall of Fame banquets? Yeah, Ben was there. Yeah, did a great job. I had the opportunity to work with a bunch of great people on the Board of Governance for the Northeastern Conference, and one of them is here tonight, Bob Rowland. Was the athletic director at Gloucester High School. They were fine gentlemen. They always fought for their teams. They fought for their schools, but they fought for kids, and they fought to do the right thing. And the conference ran well. I was honored to work with these people. I also want to recognize another person, he was the team doctor for a while, Dr. David St. Pierre. He was outstanding and did a lot of nice things to help our Salem athletes out. Thanks, Dave. I'm glad to call you a friend. I met a lot of good administrators when I was in Salem, and they were teachers and coaches. All you got to do is look around the room. You got Richard Stafford, Al Giardi, Jack O'Brien, Sean Gallagher, Tommy Doyle. I mean, just look around the room. You can't do it alone. You have to have the people with you. It's not something that's done by yourself. And I was fortunate enough to have those people. And I include custodians and secretaries in that group because they make things happen. I want to thank the parents for allowing me to work with their children. I want to thank the boosters for all the good things that they do for kids in sports in Salem. And the Salem fans have always been wonderful. They've supported our teams, and they've just been marvelous, marvelous people. I want to, and my thanks go to many other wonderful people, beginning with my parents who contributed in so many ways to my life in athletics and beyond. I want to thank the student athletes and the students of Salem High School, because now as I get older, I have an opportunity to think back and look at the good times and have some memories that remind me of being alive in the good times. And there's so many wonderful athletes in my career. I just want to wish Salem good luck in the Super Bowl, okay? And I want to, well, that's really all. God bless.
Congratulations, Mr. Geswell, once again. Our next inductee tonight is Bethany Greenblatt Goodrich. Bethany graduated in 1995 and played soccer, gymnastics, and was a track athlete. Bethany Greenblatt Goodrich's performances on the track, in the gym, and on the soccer pitch identify her as one of Salem High's all-time great athletes and team leaders. Bethany was the captain of the soccer, gymnastics, and spring track teams her senior year, 1994 to 1995. In soccer, Bethany was a force. She was a 4-year starter on Salem's varsity soccer team. She was Salem's leading goal scorer in her sophomore and senior years, and was the NEC MVP her senior year. She led Salem to a shootout game in the 1994 MIAA tournament against the country's then #1 ranked high school soccer team, Winchester. Beverly's coach Dick Maitland observed what it would take to beat Salem in their unbeaten NC girls soccer battle at Bertram Field. We've got to shut down Bethany Greenblatt. She's a good player, a goal-getter, and definitely a big force for them. In the words of Phil Stacy, Salem News sports editor, I remember Bethany as a terrific multi-sport athlete. I watched her play several soccer games and always remember what a fierce competitor she was. Bethany was named to both the Eastern Mass All-Star team and the All-State team in 1994. Bethany attended Michigan State on a soccer scholarship. On the track, Bethany competed in the 100-meter hurdles, 300-meter hurdles, shot put, and high jump, demonstrating her athletic versatility and providing her coaches with flexibility and assigning her events depending on opponents. She also was a fixture on the undefeated NEC and NEC champion 4x100 meter relays her junior and senior years. Bethany set Salem's 100-meter hurdles record at 16.1 seconds and recorded the school's then second fastest 300-meter hurdles time. She qualified to compete in the State Division II track meet her junior and senior years. Finally, Bethany was a 4-year gymnastics varsity team member. NEC and Salem Evening News All-Star her junior and senior years. Bethany received both the Spring Track and Gymnastics Hall of Fame awards in 1995. Congratulations, Bethany Greenblatt Goodrich.
First, I would like to thank the committee for giving me the opportunity to look somewhat cool in front of my 2 teenagers. I can assure you that does not happen very often. I would like to thank my parents for all their efforts supporting my brother, sister, and I, and especially thank you to my dad for devoting so much time coaching all of us. Being both a parent and a coach can be a challenge, but the time we spent together will always be a special memory for me. What a fun experience, taking a step back to remember my time as an athlete at Salem High. How fun to read all the old articles and reminisce about this time in my life. Many memories came back to me, and more than the wins and losses, they involved my coaches and teammates and the memories we made together. I remember the endless pasta parties and wearing this ridiculous bandana to school every game day. I remember my gymnastics coach, Nicole, who was practically a kid herself, giving us such great advice on how to be a strong, confident woman. Thank you to Richard Stafford for nominating me for this honor and giving me the chance to relive these wonderful memories for a little while. I wanted to take this time to share some words of wisdom about what I learned as an athlete at Salem High School. To all the young athletes in the room, especially my 2 boys, this is my advice to you as you continue your high school journey. Smile. Enjoy yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. Be a leader. People will remember more about your character than they will about your accomplishments. Make younger teammates feel welcome. Be the hardest working player on your team. Success is built on the work you do every day when no one is looking. And most important, have fun. These 4 years will go by in a blink. Thank you. Thank you for the honor.
Congratulations one more time, Bethany Greenblatt Goodrich. Our next inductee is Stephen Njemi, a 1963 graduate who participated in football, hockey, gymnastics, and tumbling. The Njemi name dates back almost 100 years in organized sports at Salem High School, starting with Stephen C. Njemi, the uncle of Stephen A. Njemi, being inducted today. Today's inductee participated in various sports in all 4 years at Salem High, as well as many academic activities at school. He particularly liked the contact sports best and played 3 years of hockey and all 4 years of football, as well as weightlifting and gymnastics. Steve was a captain of the gymnastics team his senior year. Through the methodical coaching of Bob Chenard, Steve was able to achieve the very difficult maneuver of the Iron Cross. It requires an extraordinary amount of upper body strength. The skill is performed on the rings, which is executed by extending both arms straight out from the sides of the body while suspended in midair and held for several seconds. But Steve's real love was football, and wanted badly to follow in his Uncle Steve's and his brother Joe's footsteps on the gridiron. Joe and Jimmy was an exceptional athlete at Salem and participated in track, baseball, and football. Steve even wore number 51, the same as his brother. Steve and Jimmy was referred to as one of the little guys on the team at 145 pounds his senior year. As an offensive guard and defensive linebacker, Steve found it quite adequate. The way the sports writers put it, what Steve lacks in size, he more than makes up for it in speed, explosiveness, and cunning. In 1961, as a junior in the Salem-Beverly Thanksgiving Day game, Steve came away with being named the Outstanding Salem Player. This was an award that his Uncle Steve earned in the 1941 Thanksgiving Day game. His brother Joe earned the same outstanding award on one very cold Thanksgiving morning at Herd Stadium in 1954. It seems like Steve and Jimmy was following in the family tradition. The next year as a senior, Steve was selected to lead the Witches as co-captain, along with his good friend, George McGuire. Throughout his 4 years at Salem High, Steve was regarded as a leader on and off the field of play, always helping and encouraging others to think positive and would show friends how to make things happen rather than just talk about it. In the final game of the 1962 season, Salem-Beverly Thanksgiving Day Classic, Steve was honored once again with the Salem Outstanding Player Trophy. That made 2 in a row, which is a standalone achievement on its own. In just a 21-year span, the Ingemies secured 4 Thanksgiving Day Outstanding Player Trophies. Not bad for the Ingemies. According to Steve, there are many outstanding families that brought lots of athletic pride to Salem. The Giardis, Sadowskis, Mavroskis, Stellatos, and the list goes on, and the Ingemies are definitely one of them. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good job. Well, here we go. I got to tell you, my wife tells me excuse me, I talk too fast, but I have this much to say and this much time to do it in, so I'm going to talk a little fast, whether you like it or not. I want to thank everybody. This is a wonderful, wonderful honor. The mayor, thank you. The entire school committee, the Riley and his committee and what he's done and accomplished. I've been involved in putting on things like this through my life, and it's not easy. It's a lot of work. So let's get right with it. About a month and a half ago, I was sitting with my wife, Chris, and I got a phone call. And when I hung the phone up, when it was done, the phone call was over, I said, "Boy, that was an exciting call." And Chris said, "Well, what's that all about?" I said, "Well, that was Riley Christie, the athletic director at Salem High School, and he said that they'd voted to induct me into the Salem Hall of Fame." And without missing a beat, Chris said, "Are you sure he didn't say that they wanted to indict you for stealing that practice jersey 60 years ago?" I swear it's true. I thought, no one's ever going to believe that. I brought some proof. Here it is. This thing is so old, I had to shave it before I brought it here. Let's practice. For all I know, it could have been my brother Joe's practice jersey 8 years earlier than me. I don't know. But anyway, there it is, and those are the kinds of things that happen to me in my life with my wife. Keeps life interesting. Well, let's talk about something else. I believe that
It's so exciting for me and for everyone else to be up here. It's a great honor. However, it's not about myself and all the other people that are being risen today to this wonderful position. It's not. It's really about all of us, because each and every one of you folks had something to do with bringing your people to this point today. Let me explain. Got to tell you a couple stories. My Uncle Steve, which you heard a little bit about him, he played football from 1939 to 1941. He was a credible ball player. He was a captain of his team in 1941. He won a full boat scholarship to Mississippi State. He went to college there. He was there only a few months, and then he got drafted into the United States Army. Well, if you recall, something very important happened on January 7th, 1941, and we entered into World War II. So that's why he got drafted out of there. And I can tell you that he fought in the Pacific Theater as hard and as honorable as he did at Bertram Field. He was one of those war heroes. And to give you an idea of what I'm really talking about here, I got to go back a little bit in history. My grandfather had a chicken farm up on Highland Avenue, a mile up above Salem High, right across from Polio Dairy. And it was a pretty big chicken farm, but back then the farmhouse was facing Highland Avenue, but between the farmhouse and Highland Avenue, there was this great big outcropping of granite rock. It was about 40 feet long, 25 feet wide, and went somewhere over 15 feet high. Well, my grandmother didn't like that. My grandmother said, "Say, Stefano, ma, I no like the bigger rock, I can't see the street." Had to go. So, you know, back in the 30s, they did things a little bit different than they do today. So my grandfather took his 4 sons, loaded them in the pickup, and down the road they went to buy a box of dynamite. They did. When they came back, I'm telling you, they blew the living hell out of that rock. I mean, when the smoke cleared, it was wow. But it created another problem. And by the way, it was only 10 or 15 feet from Highland Avenue. But the other problem it created was the pieces that were left were so big that man nor beast could move them. So now what do? Well, my father and his 2 brothers, they were all working. Those 3 boys, they were older. Steve was the youngest of the family. So my grandfather came up with a solution. He said to my Uncle Steve, he said, "Say, Steve, you take this bigger sludge of hammer and you break all of these of rock so they get the small, we can move them back." So he took the sledgehammer and he went to work. And he worked month after month after month after month. He broke every one of those rocks till they were just little pieces big enough to move. Then you know what happened? A great metamorphosis. The man that broke all those little pieces of rock, he became the rock. At that point, when he started that, he was in only the 7th or 8th grade. When he got to high school, he became so solid. He was 175 pounds, all muscle. And you know what? His teammates nicknamed him the Rock of Gibraltar. In comparison to him, they probably would have called me Pebble Beach. I don't really know. But anyway, after that, then what happened? My best friend for my whole life, my brother Joe, he went about 10 or 12 years later, went to high school. And Joe, as you know, you heard, played a lot of sports. He was a good track person, but his love was baseball. He was just a fantastic baseball player. But he also played football. And mostly I'd like to watch him play football because it's what I like the most. But we only lived a 3-minute walk down the hill from Bertram Field, and I'm 8 years younger than my brother, so I was just a little kid then. But I could go up there whenever I wanted. I could watch him run. I could watch him play ball and other teams. It was wonderful. And I tell you, I just couldn't wait to get up to Salem High School to play sports. Now, another interesting story. When I was in the 3rd grade, I met three guys. 2 of them are here tonight. I met Alex Mavrakis. Mavrakis family played football here in Salem. His brother is enshrined here also, his older brother. George McGuire, who he and I shared the co-captainship, and Gary Pilati, who could not be here tonight. But we all met in the 3rd grade. We all, right here at Horaceman Training School. For those of you old enough, you remember that this college, it was a teacher's college, and that was the training school. And that's where we met in the 3rd grade. And we played sports together. Want to know where we learned how to play football? Look down at your feet. This building is built on the field that we played and learned to play football. I think we played 7-man football then, no face mask. So I think that's kind of wonderful to think about that. And you know the best part of the whole thing? We're all still good friends today. But we learn things from one another. You know, we enjoyed being with one another, and we still do. Well, after it's okay, it didn't break. After me, my brother Arthur came along. Arthur's about 8 years younger than I am. But Arthur wasn't a little squirt like my brother Joe and myself. He was big and strong and 6 feet and over 200 pounds. He was strong, he was fast, and he was a damn good football player. However, I think that, and I haven't ever had this conversation with him, but I think that he wanted to win one of those Salem Beverly trophies also. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, his senior year, he managed to break his leg. Didn't get a chance, but he played ball, very good ball. And then came along, after that, my son Stephen was a great soccer player here. He went on to spend about 20 years here in the North Shore coaching soccer. But and I'm telling you all this for a reason, and I'm trying to go fast, but his daughter, a lot of you probably read about her, because she went to Beverly High School and she broke every single track record in the 5 or 6 events that she was involved with in the history of Beverly High School. Phenomenal athlete. And she ended up getting scholarships from all over the place. She finally chose and got a full boat to Princeton, where she's finishing up right now. Great athletic people. My son Scott, now there's another guy that really liked contact sports, so long as water was involved. At that point, when he was in high school, we were living in California, in Long Beach. And when Scott finished school there, he was rated number 4 breaststroke in the entire state of California. I don't know where he got his genes from, because none of us was. He's the strongest swimmer I've ever met. So then what happens? Now I have other family members. My brother Joe, of course, his son Joey was a very good ball player. He's got a son-in-law who's here today, Ryan McKinley, another good Salem ball player. Terrific guy, terrific, strong, good player. My sister Josie's son Billy, one of the toughest linemen I've ever seen. Another big strapping kid. My sister Sandy, and her husband Jim Mackenzie, their granddaughter, the daughter of Randy, DeShanes played for Salem Academy. She played 4 years for Salem Academy, and when I tell you about this, it'll blow your mind. This kid, when she was pitching, it was like pulling teeth trying to get a hit out of her. When she was at bat, she could hit anything that came anywhere near the plate. She ended up with an incredible 704 batting average with an ERA of 1.62. Incredible. In addition to that, her last year, just a few years ago, she brought her team to the Massachusetts State Championship, and in addition to that, all 4 years that she was at Salem Academy, she was the MVP of the league. You know, there's some terrific stories we've heard tonight. Some of the athletes here are fantastic. They're great athletes. And those athletes and my family, none of us did this alone. We had your help along the way. So, beyond that, also her by the way, Tara, DeShane's father, Randy, coached her for many years, and a lot of other kids did a great job. I have a cousin. His name is Connie St. Pierre. We got a great basketball star here, and Connie held the scoring record here at Salem High for about 30 years, and he was no bigger than I was. I don't know how that kid did it. He was the Bob Cousy of Salem High at the time. A terrific kid. So there were a lot of things and a lot of things that happened. In terms of sports. Now, my son Scott, his son Calvin, his deal was baseball, man. You know, if anything to do with baseball, he was around it. He loved it. He played baseball through T-ball all the way through, and he played 4 outstanding years at Peabody High School. He went to Curry College and played 2 years there. And after a couple of years, he felt that he really wasn't getting the education that he needed to carry on and to get to his career path. He wants to be a sports therapist. So he studied and looked around and everything and the schools, and he found that Salem University right here has one of the best programs for his career in all of New England. And so he enrolled here. He's in his 4th year now. So about 4 down, Calvin, 3 to go, right? That kid, he'll end up with his doctorate. I know he will. Wonderful things happen. So also, I want to mention this. There's a little runt running around here, about 6 years old. His name is Benjamin Ingemy, and he is the son of Andrew Ingemy, who is the son of Arthur Ingemy, my brother. Well, Benjamin, he is going to be the next generation of the Ingemies. I'll tell you, this kid, 6 years old, he started skiing downhill by himself at 3 years old. He plays soccer, he plays lacrosse, and he runs track. In fact, the last time we ran, he beat me, the little bugger. So it's carrying on, and I want to just ask you guys, I'm going to ask you all a question, a really serious question. Do you think, or do you feel, that 85 years ago, when my grandfather gave my Uncle Steve that sledgehammer, do you think that he had anything to do with the success of sports in the Ingemy family? Yes. I do. I really do. But, you know, that's my thesis. You know, you have to draw your own conclusions on that information, okay? The wonder of it all is just so beautiful. And so what does it all mean? What it means is that I believe, truly in my heart and my intellect, that each and every one of you folks have helped your person here today to be into this position today. You know, we all have history, right? We rub off on one another. We learn from one another. there are darn few hermits in the world. So you got to congratulate your inductees, but you got to congratulate yourselves also. Fair enough? I have one other most important thing I have to say and do. Just one. Hold on. You know, I'm afraid, the old vaudeville days, they used to have this big hook, and they take the hook and they pull the guy off the stage. That's what I'm worried about. He's fucking a hook. I don't know. Almost done. But this is more important than anything I've said tonight. I have a friend here tonight that I love, and he's been a friend for many, many years. His name is Coach Bob Boots Chenard. Coach Chenard, he is a member of this esteemed group, and he was my coach, our coach, and he was our gym teacher to begin with, coach in track, coach in football. He was a magnificent football coach. He was our gymnastics coach. He's the guy that taught me to do the iron cross. I didn't think I could do it. He said I can do it. He was right. That's why he's the coach. Coach Bob Chenard, I need you to stand up. I need you to stand up. Come on. Here's the most magnificent thing. This is the big deal, all right? The big deal is that 1 month from today, on the 21st of December, this Christmas baby is going to be 100 years old. He's also a war veteran, and another thing that I didn't learn until a few years ago, he actually played football against my Uncle Steve way back 110 years ago. These two guys played football against one another. All right, so will you do me a favor? Will you all help me sing Happy Birthday to Bob, the first one for 100 years old? Are you ready? And listen, you gotta sing loud, I'll tell you why. Because he's starting to get a little old, okay? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bob. Happy birthday to you. All right, Bob. Now, I'm done. I know. Hold on. I gotta say one more thing. Mr. Christie, I'm ready to atone for my sin. Do you want this beautiful, wonderful, old jersey back?
I think it should be yours, sir.
I feel vindicated. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations again, Mr. and Jimmy. All right. Our next inductee is a 2010 graduate, Sean Linehan, who played basketball and baseball. Sean was the ultimate student athlete. He was the valedictorian of his class and excelled in sports. He was the captain of the basketball team in his junior and senior years. He was a Northeastern Conference All-Star and a Gannis All-Star and the Northeastern Conference All-Star Game 3-point champion. Sean received the Salem High Basketball Hall of Fame Award. In his senior year, his team was the Division II North champions and played at the TD Garden. Recognized for his integrity, his coach said, "Sean was such a positive influence and someone who is universally respected." Sean was also captain of his baseball team. In baseball, he was a 2-year Northeastern Conference All-Star, an Agganis All-Star, and a Salem News All-Star. Sean stood tall. He was a tremendous representative of his school and his team, noted his coach. Sean was the Salem News Student Athlete for Salem High School and received the Agganis Student Athlete Award, the Moynihan Lumber Student Athlete Award, and the Paul J. Higgins Student Athlete Award. Sean went on to graduate with honors from Holy Cross with degrees in economics and political science. He continues to be known for his sincerity and humbleness. Congratulations, Sean.
This will be quick. Thank you so much. To the committee, I can't express how much of an honor this is. To be included among such an impressive and esteemed group of people, both this present class and all those that came before us, is a compliment like none other. I think back on my time playing sports at Salem High as fondly as anything. From some of the highest highs to some notable challenges, what amazes me most is the thread of unwavering support that tied it all together. I was especially fortunate to have two excellent coaches in Tom Doyle and Jim Jedis. Looking back, I've come to appreciate just how much Coach Doyle was able to personalize his coaching approach, adjusting as necessary to get the most out of each individual. This was particularly tricky for our team, where the spectrum of personalities ranged from guys who you could hardly get a word out of to future MTV stars. And with Coach Jedis, what I enjoyed more than anything was the sort of coming out of the shell that occurred, both with us as a team towards him and him towards us. Getting to experience how caring and fun Coach Jedis was, who initially seemed a bit no-nonsense, was something I'll always remember. I can't thank these two men enough for their contributions in my development. I'd also like to thank Tom Fury. When I think of a Salem superfan, it's hard to imagine anyone other than him. To have such a strong advocate for even just ensuring that I was nominated is something I'll always cherish. I hope this isn't taken the wrong way, because this honor is truly immense, but I think Mr. Fury may have even exceeded my own levels of excitement when receiving the news that I would be inducted. To have such a desire to see others succeed is truly the mark of a great man. While this honor of course pertains to Salem High, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my time in Salem youth sports. From Little League and Cartoon League all the way up through Salem High, this is really the culmination of the support, guidance, and mentorship I receive from the community at large. I think back in awe at all the selfless acts to help develop me as both an athlete and a man from a practically countless list of people. It's emblematic of just how tight-knit and caring the Salem community is and why I'm so happy to have grown up here. Lastly, I'd like to thank my family. With age, I've only come to further appreciate how much of a sacrifice you made to help me succeed. Excuse me, both in sports and in life. I could list everything, the encouragement, the coaching, the drills, endless trips to the batting cages or open gyms, but we'd be here all night. Ultimately, what truly exemplifies it is this. When I look to the stands or the outfield, you'd be there. Just like you always were. I love you so much. Thank you.
One more time, congratulations, Sean. Our next inductee is a legendary basketball coach, Jack O'Brien. At the young age of 33 and at his first coaching job, Jack being a Salem State graduate, He led Salem into a 131-30 record. Salem High School runs on dominance from 1987 to 1997, had a combined record of 215-44, and captured 4 North titles, 2 Eastern Mass Championships, and 1 state title. His players included Scooney Penn, 2,189 points, Rick Brunson, Tom Doyle, Mike and Tom Giardi, Rick Leibowitz, George McDonald, Mike Fritz, Mark Barabee, Tony Mataragas, Frank Viola, Jamal Kama, Saul Mateo, Matt Merengue, and many others. Paul Garrity, Wayne Hanscom, and now Tom Doyle have made Salem High School the pride of the North Shore. One of Jack's players during his time was Zach Zagorowski, who went on to become one of his assistants. Coach Jimmy Silva was a great assistant too. Neil Sweetie, Boston Globe writer, entitled his book, The Assist, about Jack's later blazing years at Charlestown. Congratulations, Jack O'Brien.
First of all, I want to thank the committee for this great honor this evening. I also want to congratulate all the inductees this evening, and congratulations also to Bob Geswell. Bob hired me my first position, kind of inexperienced, and I appreciate that, Bob. I always will. The last couple of weeks, like a lot of you, I was reminiscing of the past and trying to come up with some ideas, and even thinking of so many highlights that happened to me at Salem High School. One of the great privileges was coaching Zach over here, Zach Zagorowski. He was a 3-sport star at Salem High: football, basketball, and baseball. Zach was the starter in all 3, and on 3 of the greatest teams Salem ever had. Zach and myself went on to coach at Charlestown High, as you know, which brought us so much joy and happiness. But it all started here at Salem High. It all started, the seed was planted. Zach's first year as a freshman was my first year at Salem High. So it was so big. It was such a great time. With Zach and his teammates were just incredible kids, and it just really got the ball rolling and gave everyone a great feel. The thing I'll always remember is Zach is so humble, and Zach will always talk about how much I did for him in those years when he went through his challenges and some difficulties at Salem. But he never talks about all he's done for me. And when I went through my difficulties and challenges at Salem, Zach was always there, and he was only a kid at that time. So the amazing thing is to see that come all the way around in these years of the challenges that we've both developed over the years. And Zach, I can't tell you how much I love you and I appreciate you. Zach Zagorowski down here. Give him a hand. Speaking of assistant coaches, I had 2 of the greatest, Wayne Hanscom and Jim Silvio. Two very different personalities. Wayne was calm, patient, understanding, and so was the opposite. But the one thing about these guys is the kids loved them and would go through a wall for them. Both of these gentlemen went on to be successful high school head coaches in the North Shore area. And how about Wayne? He was the freshman coach, JV and varsity at Salem High. That's quite a commitment. I did want to touch on the mentality of the Salem High athlete. And Al Giardi's here, he can back me up on this. The vibe, I think Bob had mentioned, the vibe around the school in those days was so upbeat, so positive. Because the leaders of the school were the athletes. The athletes set the tone. They weren't just like, winning games. They were truly student athletes that embody the student body to get out there and get to games. And it was just a great feeling to be in that building day after day. the thing I loved about the athletes is they got along so well. They eat in the lunchroom together and just really didn't care about themselves. It was all about the pride in Salem, which a few people have mentioned tonight. To see those teams in those days, like, it was incredible. Every team either won a title or was in the mix for a championship. Year after year, it was unbelievable. Year after year. And one year in particular, and I'm sure Bob remembers, both the boys and the girls, the year we won the state title, both the boys and the girls went all the way to the Boston Garden, which was the Eastern Mass Final. That night, the whole city of Salem was there. We played in a doubleheader. The girls played at 6, the boys played at 7:30. That was unheard of, and I don't know if it's been done again. Both teams on the same night, the same year, getting to the Garden. It's pretty impressive. I always said that would have been a great night to rob a bank in Salem because no one was there. The other thing with the Salem athlete, so coachable, so coachable. You could push them. They weren't enabled. They weren't selfish. They were just, it was all about Salem, and it was all about pride. It was all about doing their best. Salem would get knocked sometimes in those days. I think it was a lot of jealousy on the outside by other schools and other communities because they were winning so much in all sports. But the one thing I'll always remember is the Salem athlete always showed tremendous character. And I know Bob would make sure of that as an AD. He just made sure, hey, this is how we're going to handle ourselves. Coaches, credit to the coaches, credit to the parents, and credit to the athletes. We talked about how much success Salem has had over the years, and that particular time was off the charts. But like any team in any program, those teams suffered crushing defeats too. And you could see after games how disappointed and hurt we all were. But even the games I went to, I'm not talking just basketball, I'm talking about all sports. I never saw someone start trouble or blame a coach, blame a player, blame each other. I just never saw that. I never saw someone starting trouble after a game. It was sportsmanship, it was shaking hands, it was like, okay, it happens, and we move on. And that's just the mentality we had, which I thought was so great. I have to give a shout out to the faculty, and there's a few of them here from the past. The faculty, and someone had mentioned this earlier about Salem schools. All public schools get knocked. We know that. It's just like, it's kind of the nature of the beast. Salem was constantly, and the data kind of proves differently, Salem was constantly sending kids on to college. And the athletes were all going on to school, many at prestigious schools. I know Mike Giotti's here, Harvard, but I'm just, it was incredible. It was incredible. The one problem I had, and I knew it early on, was I had a lot of young kids that coming in that were, English was a second language, one-parent homes, some no-parent homes. One thing I realized early on, I wanted them to have the same opportunities to go to school as their counterparts. But I knew how difficult it was going to be. I could help them in basketball. I could help them as people. But the academic portion, I said, oh my God, what am I going to do here? I had to have a partnership. The Salem teachers went to bat. Incredible, incredible. Every time I went up to a teacher and said, hey, and I'm not talking about grades, I'm talking about a future, having an education. We can argue the merits of a degree, but I think most of us here would agree that without the degree, we wouldn't be here. So I wanted those kids to have that same opportunity, but I knew how difficult it was going to be. Every single teacher I went to, one-on-one, would say, and I'm expecting maybe, hey, he's got to study harder, he's got to work harder, he's got to get a tutor. Every single teacher said, what can we do? What can we do? Here's a game plan. So we would sit down and they would say, okay, he needs to come before school. He needs to come at lunch. He needs to come during study. He needs to come after school. It was a lot. It was a lot. But my feeling was I wanted those dreams to become reality. And the only way it was going to happen was those teachers. It was not going to happen by the kid becoming a great basketball player or becoming a nice kid. That was going to be, okay, now what? Now what do you got? Those teachers deserve so much credit. Like I said, every single one of them. And then as time went on, they were coming to the games. As time went on, kids were saying, hey, coach, I got a 90 on this. See, look at this. I got an A on this paper. Hey, did you talk to Miss So-and-so? I said, what? About what? And I knew what they were thinking. Hey, I knew it was good news on things. Things were starting to turn. The tide was turning. The mentality was different. Now it was not just like, okay, play ball, come, and just not thinking about 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Now they were thinking about their future. They were thinking about, I can have something better. I can have what he has and she has. That was such a great feeling. I could see that coming. I could see them caring more. And you know it every day when they're not just talking about basketball. They're bringing up school. And I said, wow, wow. Many times I started noticing teachers at the games, and I never saw that before. These teachers I had talked to. And the funny thing with these teachers is I know they could have cared less about sports. They didn't care about sports, but they cared about their students. And they would bring, a lot of times they would bring their kids to the games, and their kids would introduce their kids to those players. It was such a nice feeling around. And again, that was a positive vibe around Salem High School, that it wasn't just about sports, even though the sports teams were doing incredible. It was about being a great student athlete. The sports were an extension of the classroom, which made it so special. I just want to close on this. I had a phone call from a player, a Salem High player, about a month and a half ago. And it's happened quite a bit, down the road here. And the conversation always gets around to how you doing, how's your family, what's going on now, and it kind of goes back to the past. And we always talk about, hey, remember that marathon practice? Or remember that difficult situation? Or remember how basketball might have helped me in life right now? Or I'm trying to teach my kids this. Remember we went through that, this, or that. Some great stories. A team is a family, so that those are very intimate moments. And you don't forget those. But the funny thing is, I never ever talk to an ex-player and they bring up the wins, the championships. They never bring those up until maybe later on. Maybe it's an afterthought, but what always sticks with them is the stories, what you went through together, the tightness, and what really mattered. The championships, the wins, they come and go. Next year there'll be a different champion. The year after there'll be somebody else. It's always going to change. But those relationships will always last forever. And that is so special. God bless you all and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Congratulations again, Coach Jack O'Brien. Our next inductee is a 2011 graduate who played football and basketball, Antonio Reyes. One of, if not the best skilled athletes that we have had in the last 20 years at Salem High School. He was a star for both the basketball and football teams. In basketball, he ranks third all-time in career points with 1,586 and was chosen as MVP of the Northeastern Conference and Boston Globe All-Scholastic as a senior. He was the leader of the team that won the Division II North Championship and played at the Boston Garden. He could do it all on the basketball court: score, pass, rebound, and defend. The team had a record of 75-29 during his 4 years at Salem High. It is not often that a freshman had an impact, but Antonio increased his role each and every game that year, and by the end of the year, he became a starter and key player. Antonio was always one step ahead. He could read where the ball was going to bounce and what an opposing player was going to do. He has a very high IQ player out on the court, and it was oftentimes like having a player coach on the floor. In football, Antonio is the all-time leader in the Witch's illustrious football history in tackles with more than 300. He was a 3-year starter and 4-year varsity contributor and was a fearsome hitter who dropped many foes with bone-crunching stops. Was named the Northeastern Conference Defensive Player of the Year as a junior. 2-time Salem News All-Star. Finished with 157 tackles as a senior and part of a class to beat arch-rival Beverly twice on the holiday. Also a talented tight end and fullback. Former coach/athletic director Scott Connolly said that Antonio Reyes is one of the best pure athletes he has ever seen. Congratulations, Antonio Reyes.
Just gonna let you know now, I'm not much of a public speaker, so wish me luck. I'm gonna start off with giving thanks to the committee for selecting me. I appreciate it. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to be here and being selected into the Hall of Fame in the city which I spent the best years of my life in high school. I cannot take credit of getting here alone. I had an amazing team behind me who supported me each step of the way. My mother, my brother, my sisters, aunts, and cousins. If you've ever been to any of my games, they were the loud ones, screaming at the ref all game. My brother on the sideline, acting like an assistant coach, telling me what to do all game. Very much appreciated though. Thank you. I also want to thank my coaches throughout the years, especially Coach Conley and Coach Doyle. Not only did they go above and beyond of what a coach does, they were both like a father figure in my life. And I'll forever be grateful for that. I need to also mention my teammates. Man, I was blessed with a good group of men. There was one time at practice where we were playing 3-on-3, and I mentioned this earlier to Sean. I had came down the lane and gave him a no-look pass, and gave him a bloody nose. To this day, I still feel bad because Sean didn't say anything, and I know he was so mad at me. My bad, bro. But big shout out to you on making the Hall of Fame as well. Couldn't be more proud of you, bro. Growing up, I've always seen the plaques on the wall in the gym of the people before me who have been elected in the Hall of Fame. And growing up, I always wanted to be like, hey, look, I can do that. Turns out I'm now going to be one of those. But it's a great honor, and congrats to everyone else being inducted as well. And that's it. Thank you.
Congratulations again to those who know him as Tone. Our next inductees are Tanya and Edward Skeffington for all of their acts and meritorious acts as boosters and parents. Eddie and Tanya Skeffington spent over a decade on the sidelines and courtside at Salem High School. On this particular occasion, it is important to make a distinction between the sidelines and the bleachers, because anyone who knows them would never accuse them of just passively sitting down to watch a game. Tanya is a Salem native and graduate class of 1982. She has worked as a paraprofessional in the Salem public school system for 17 years, most recently in a program that serves students with autism at Salem High School. Eddie graduated from Woburn High School in 1980, where he played quarterback on the varsity football team and eventually led the Tanners to a Super Bowl victory against Brockton. Eddie passed on his love of sports to his children, spending the better part of the 90s volunteering as a coach for both the local cartoon and recreational basketball leagues. All 4 of their children graduated from Salem High School, 3 of whom were multi-season athletes. Tanya and Ed were active in the Salem High School Athletic Boosters, helping to organize various fundraising endeavors, working in the kitchen during each and every football camp, supervising the concession stand at basketball games, and being there to root for the Witches at every turn. Since their youngest son graduated, they have continued to stay active in the community, volunteering for the Salem High School Unified Sports Team in their spare time. While their children could readily tell you how incredibly giving and wonderful their parents are, one need not look so close to home for such accolades. Tanya and Eddie meet all student athletes with the same warmth, positivity, care, concern, and occasional tough love that they administer to their own children. If anyone has ever truly embodied sportsmanship and teamwork off the athletic field and courts of Salem, it is them. They have shown character, leadership, compassion, and a deep dedication to this community of student athletes. Thank you and congratulations, Eddie and Tanya Stephenson.
Tanya's actually the public speaker. Do you want to speak? No. The coach is so uncomfortable, I better do it. I didn't grow up in Salem. I came from Woburn. My dad was a basketball coach there from 1961 to 1973, and I was a gym rat. We lived about a mile from the high school. My elementary school was in the middle, and the high school was over here. From first grade, I would walk over there and go to practice with my dad. If he did that today, my mother would have got arrested. But I had a great athletic career, and I'm just going to tell a little story just because it kind of ties in to what's going on here. In 1979, we went to the Super Bowl, Woburn, and that was the best athletic time of my career. It was phenomenal, the feeling, the friendships, everything that went on. And I tell this story because our witches are going to the Super Bowl. And those guys are feeling, I'm sure, the same way. And it's phenomenal. We are so appreciative. We never started to do any, volunteer work or anything. I started with the Cartoon League and did some recreational basketball. And then as the kids get older, you kind of get that hole as an athlete. You're coaching, you're doing this. Now what do I do? And we went to a boosters meeting. And we got involved with the boosters, and we worked with some great other parents. People helped us. We got to meet the kids. I mean, Alex Sanchez, Sean Lenahan. I had him in Cartoon League. Antonio. It's just phenomenal. Now, this is the one that did all the work for the boosters. I was basically the gopher. I would go to the grocery store, do the dishes, but she organized, and there were many other parents that helped us. We're honored that we were chosen for this. Certainly unexpected, but thank you so much. And I know it's late, so I'm not going to talk much longer, but thank you so much to the committee for it. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Tanya and Eddie. And congratulations to all of you inducted tonight for joining that illustrious Hall of Fame at Salem High. Your name and your picture will forever be enshrined in the halls of Salem High School. Thank you very much for everyone who attended tonight. Good night and happy Thanksgiving.